Hello everyone and welcome to a Music of the Month roundup thing that I always do at the start of each month. It is the start of April, which means I have to listen to not listen to everything, review everything that I listen to in March with the exception of 2 albums. See, I've got quite a lot to talk about for March and there are a couple that I missed, so I'm going to review them for April instead, and there's a third one that also came out that I just found out about today that I'm going to listen to at some point. So you'll see that in the review stuff for April as well, because I don't have a lot for April. I wanted to put some stuff aside, but still we have a lot to talk about in March, so let's do that. So the first album we have to talk about wasn't even released in March. It was released in January and is Ages with Droman. This is a very unique sort of like supergroup-ish thing. I think one of the members is from Seosin. I could be very wrong about that. I recognise some of the band members' names and from being in other bands, and I actually thought this was a really solid album. I don't know if this is debut. I don't think it is. Either way, I'm giving it an A. I really enjoy this. Just solid riffs. It's a bit short in places, which is why it doesn't get an A+, but like the performances, it's produced well. The instrumental work, everything around it is just absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, definitely it deserves its A for Aegis. Or Aegis? Drummond? It gets an A. Next is Azure Remote with the third perspective. Yeah, this was like a very sort of stereotypical grunty metal thing. It does have some really good prog moments, but I can't give this anything more than C-. There's just like way too much trying to be crammed into certain places, and I feel like there's a lot of filler material that could have just been cut out of it. I get it when it comes to prog metal, it can be that way, but it felt like there was a bit too much of it for this one. There are still some enjoyable moments in it, but which is why it doesn't get lower. But yeah, C-. I think that's a fair grade for it. Next is Body Count with Carnivore. Body Count are one of the most longest running hardcore punk bands who have Ice-T. Is it Ice-T? I think it's Ice-T as the rapper. Hang on, I'm going to look that up really quick. It is Ice-T. Yeah, you go me. But yeah, this is just a really solid album. For a band that have been around this long, they really haven't lost a step. I haven't listened to a lot of their stuff in the past, but I do plan to change it. This album gets a B+. Like, the fact that it's still topically relevant today for a band who've been around as long as they have, really, really great stuff here. Really love this. Not sure I could say that I really love this about this next album, though. Boomtown Rats were Citizens of Boomtown. This is the band's first album in 36 years. Their first since reforming in 2013. I'm not too familiar with them, but Bob Geldof is a member of them, and you might remember him because he has a daughter named Peaches, and Peaches Geldof sounds like a weird fantasy setting porn erotic parody character. This album gets a D-. This is bad. This is a really bad album. Just not structured well. It doesn't mix its genres greatly. Even when it does, it feels like it's separating so much. The lyrics are just boring. The production is overflushed. It's just they sound so phoned in too. I just did not like this one at all. I couldn't find a lot to enjoy about this. Sorry. And for a band who are super duper old, they came back a few years ago, as I mentioned, from a breakup. Could have done better here. I'm just saying. Once again, not a band I listen to a lot of, but there you go. Next is Brian Fallon with Local Honey. For those who know the name of Brian Fallon, he was the lead singer of the Gaslight Anthem, who are no longer with us, and I listened to a couple of their albums. Wasn't the biggest fan of them, but I did like them. At the very least, I understood what they were doing. And Brian Fallon, yeah, this is basically the same style, but just him on his own and a bit more folksy. This album gets a B. I was really impressed by this. It's got too few tracks for me, but it's got really good lyrics, really good... Brian is a really good songwriter and storyteller here, and he performs it really well. And it's just got that really just calming, heartfelt, heartland feel to it. So, it does what it accomplishes, and it does sound good while it's doing it, so, can't really fault it. Next is Code Orange with Underneath, and get ready to call me a hack, because I'm absolutely giving this an A+. I mean, how can I give this album by this band anything less than an A+? Honestly, they're one of the best bands going right now, and I remember listening to Forever 3 years ago, because that's when it came out in 2017, and thinking, oh man, this is great, I wonder what's next for them, and this was next, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, they beat Forever, I didn't think they could. They took the time off, they perfected everything that they were already perfect at, Like, this is going in the top 10 albums of 2020 for me. Absolutely. Brilliant, beautiful, hard-hitting, just punch you in the face hardcore. Love this. Absolutely love this. Listen to it now. Next is The Goners with Good Morning, but morning spelled Mourning, which I suppose is an appropriate name considering the times that we're living under at the moment. But yeah, this was... I can't recall if this is a debut. I remember when I first heard the name thinking it would be a bit more punk rocky, but it's like a sort of like sleaze rock, hard rock thing, and it's a really good album actually, really put together well. I give it a B+. I thought this was a pretty solid effort from them. Once again, can't recall if this is a debut. I think it's their third or fourth, maybe? But yeah, this was actually like quite a well put together album. I thought it was... I thought it was really good. Just really good riffs, like with Edges and Drummond, or however you pronounce that. But yeah, if you just want some good riffs and good like classic hardstyle, don't have to think too hard, but still enjoy it. Rock, sleaze rock sort of thing. This is better than most of those examples, so give it a go. Next is Heaven Shall Burn with Of Truth and Sacrifice. I'm familiar with Heaven Shall Burn's name. I've heard it before. This is my first album by them, and you know what? Like, as someone who's gotten into different styles of like death metal and stuff, I'm really glad that this is a style that I feel like was a bit more tailored for me. I mean, it's heavy, it's got some really good emotional moments, but it's really long. There is 19 songs on this thing. I'm not even making there's 19 songs. I don't think there's any covers. Why is there that many songs? Why couldn't they have made this a double album? This sounds like a concept album name, Of Truth and Sacrifice. They could have divided it into two. Released one, then like, I don't know, a month later, release the other one. They missed a massive trick there, but it still gets a B, because while it is long, what we get is really good. The length is the only thing that proper drags it down. Not really a lot else I can say, just it gets its well-earned B. Because the band's longevity has like stood the test of time, and they're still kicking ass after all these years, so, Next is In This Moment with Mother, and, man. I don't know what it is with these guys, led by a girl, but, they've really gone downhill. I think Black Widow was the last proper good arrow they had in their quiver. Like, I thought Ritual was slow and plodding, and they had some exciting moments on Mother, but it's still sort of the same as Ritual. And I get to see, I feel like these guys, more than Five Finger Death Punch, not more than Five Finger Death Punch, they're screwed anyway. I feel like these guys just need that bite up the arse, This album is not structured well. I mean, it starts with an interlude, a cover song, another interlude, then an actual song. Why? You could have cut like half of that out. And it ends with a cover song as well. The album just hurts my head more than anything. But, the band do try their best with what they have, and I think it's Kevin Churko, the producer's fault. He's becoming a plague to me. And I don't know what I mean by that, but, I'm blaming him anyway. So yeah, get to see. Next is Man Machine Industry with Doomsday Clock, and all I can say is finally, this is one of the reasons I'm glad I actually got Spotify in 2018, because these guys have been around for a long time. I first heard about them in the Darkness video game. I think I've talked about them before. And their last album in 2018 was like an album where they redid all their songs, I think, so I completely missed that. But I didn't miss this one, and really glad I got my first taste of a full Man Machine Industry album. Just really solid, like Swedish Satanist metal, if you want to call it that. There is a lot of references to the devil and the apocalypse. It's sort of their thing. It got to B though. I thought this was like a really good album for my first listen to them. I feel like they've done better stuff though, which is why it doesn't get a higher grade. These are a band I will have to check out their older stuff to try and get a better gauge on that. So, that's what I'm going to do at some point, maybe. Next is Moaning with Uneasy Laughter. I didn't really know what to think about this one. It's like, I get what it is. It's like this indie rock, pop rock sort of thing, and normally I'm all for that stuff, because usually that sounds good, but these guys just sounded bored with what they were doing. It gets a C+ from me. I don't know. I feel like I could have understood it better if I could have learned to like it a bit better if I understood what was going on. There was just like, there was something that was really off-putting to this, really off-putting about this to me. I don't know what it was, but yeah, just, C+, I can't really give it anything more than that. Next is Nap Eyes with Snapshot of a Beginner. This is quite a unique thing. This sort of like indie rock band again with these really slow, almost sort of blues-esque / maybe country-esque riffs to them. It's a very minimalist sort of album, but they achieve a lot with what they get, and it gets a B+. I thought, once again, just really enjoyable. I think these guys are from Australia? No, I could be wrong. But yeah, what we get, I thought was really enjoyable. We don't really get a lot, but we get enough, and that's enough for me. Next is Ocean Grove with Flip Phone Fantasy. These are a band I sort of heard of a couple of years ago. I think they released a single from this album, but the album hadn't come out yet. They're a very unique sort of nu metal band. They're from Australia, I know that much. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but Australian bands have been like kicking a lot of ass this year, and this is another example. This gets an A-. I thought this was super duper enjoyable. There are some moments around it, like it does get a bit repetitive at times with the structure, but not by a lot, and what we get is just enjoyable. It's fun, it's a fun album, especially in the dark time we live in. If you just want like an escape album to just listen to and just have fun with and like have a surprisingly catchy nu metal album, I would recommend checking this out. It's definitely worth your time. Next is Psychonaut with Unfold the God Man. I have no clue if I'm pronouncing the title right. Yeah, it's really solid, sort of like metal, sort of bit tech deathy in its metal ways. I didn't understand a lot of what was going on, but I did like it at least, which is why I gave it a B. Huh. I wish I could recall exactly all of the problems that I had with this, but oh what? Wasn't too terrible. Honestly, I just wish I could remember what I liked about it. Maybe, it sticks with this B. Next is Semblance with Obscura. So, I want you to, like, put these things together, okay? Brazilian, metal, female-led, band. It sounds like a golden nugget, right? It sounds like the thing you should be listening to. But this album, what the hell happened? I mean, they have a male lead singer too, and he can't scream to save his life. Oh my god. Like, his clean singing was pretty decent as well, but it's not much better than his screaming, which is already terrible. I feel like if he weren't on this, or if they got a better male lead vocalist who could actually fucking scream properly, this album would get a higher grade than a C. It gets a C because there are some really good musical moments on it, but it also ends with a Christmas cover song. Which I'm not making up, by the way. It actually does, and I don't know why. It's a weird album. Much like In This Moment's Mother, it's weirdly put together. I don't really like how... it just feels like it's so like tied and strung together in a really, really unstructured way. I get to C. I can't really give it anything more than C. Next is Silverstein with A Beautiful Place to Drown. I feel like this is one of the few albums that people would expect me to talk about, and for my first Silverstein album, I liked it. I thought this was a pretty good start for me. I know it's a different album for them. It incorporates more like poppy elements and stuff, and I feel like if I were listening to them with a heavier style, I'd give it a higher grade, but it gets a B, at the very least. It's catchy in places, it's got some really good songs. It's the band trying something new, and I do always appreciate that, but as someone who hasn't listened to a lot of the band's stuff previously, I don't have a lot to, like, support the outlier, if you will. So, yeah, for what it is, gets a B. I think that's a suitable grade for it. Next is Snarls with Burst. Snarls are a, like, very, very little known indie punk, all-girl band. I think their drummer's a boy, actually. And they're just so charming and adorable, and that's one of the main reasons this album also gets a B. It's not the most inventive thing, which is why it doesn't get a higher grade. It's not anything I haven't heard before, but it's just catchy, it's enjoyable, it's easy to like, it's easy to get into. So it does the thing it's trying to do, so can't really complain there. Just, a solid little B. Solid little B. Next is Soften the Glare with Glints. Soften the Glare are a instrumental only band, I think. I think the only words spoken on Glint are like It sounds like a radio clipping or something in the intro track. And this album is a purely instrumental piece. It's like very prog rocky in places. There is a song I don't remember the name of, but it has like a weird ass country vibe, but it feels like the most out of place thing, and it's also kind of hilarious. The band perform well, but it's just instrumental. It's just like, I don't remember how long the album is, but let's say it's like 45-50 minutes of just wanking on instruments. I get to B minus. I feel like there were parts of it that could have, that could have just been like cut in half. Really, there was a bit too much wank, and that's strong words coming from me saying it. I know, but yeah, it could have done with a bit less, but all the instruments involved, and the players, the musicians. That's what I was looking for. They do a pretty good job. So yeah. Next is Temple of Void with The World That Was. This is one of the more recent albums I listened to. I think it's the last one I listened to of March, actually. Could be. And it gets a B minus. Once again, like with where are they? Like with Ajura Remote, pretty like standard metal for the most part. It's still fairly enjoyable for what we get. Once again, the problem is with the structuring, because there's only 6 songs on it, but they had to stretch it to like 37 odd minutes, or maybe a bit longer than that. I feel like they could have cut it up into more songs, but, bit rough around the edges. It might be a debut, it feels like it is. It's probably not. No, it's not. I think it's their 3rd album or something. But yeah, B minus. If you listen to it, you'll probably understand why. Next is Watsky with Placements. I know, a rap album. Very rare for me. And I've been a fan of Watsky for a long time, but I've never listened to a full album of his, and I feel like, what better time than to get into it now, and Placement is absolutely fantastic. It is only my second A+ of March. Well, technically not, but we'll save that for the April stuff. So, Watsky with Placement. Really, really good performance by Watsky, really great beats on the production front. Really good use of the guest spots too. There's not a lot of them, but when they do show up, it's always appreciated. Just a really good story and concept told. Great lyrics. I mean, Watsky is just absolutely fantastic. Fine placement, listen to it. It's got a lot of really good stuff. Once again, like with Flip Phone Fantasy, it's more of an escape album. Why can't I speak? But, it's also just not an escape album, it's just a really good album, really great album, which is why it gets an A+. And lastly, we have Warriors with You or Someone You Know. These are another female-led punk group, and this one has like sort of a classic Midwest emo-ish vibe to it, sort of like Brave Faces Everyone Did by Spanish Love Songs, and I know I keep bringing that album up, but that album was really good, okay? I know it's only been a month, well, almost 2 now, but that album is so perfect. This album gets a B+ though. You or Someone You Know by Warriors. It gets a B+. Just really solid stuff all around. Catchy in the right places. Once again, like with Burst by Snarls, it's not the most new thing we've heard, but it's the band doing good work. For like what I believe is debut or a second album. It's still good. What we get is pretty good. So, yeah. I would recommend picking it up. So, do that. I don't know. And that will about do it for my music of the month for March. I will see you all. Well, first of all, before I do sign off, I want to say thank you to everyone who tuned into the stream last night. I will see you all soon, probably for more backtracking. I think that's the most likely thing that'll come through. Or it could be more streaming. I don't know. It's definitely not going to be a UFC review because, the world's ending. That's why it won't be happening. Anyway, I'll see you all. I think the stream is the most likely thing that's going to be next. And once again, like with the albums that I saved that I didn't include in this March one, you'll get them in my April review. So, yeah. And including the one I haven't listened to yet. And as always, I hope you have a good April. I hope that you're all staying safe and like keeping yourself clean and stuff, and not going out and doing too much, because that's how you get, that's how you catch it. So I think I don't know how it works. I really hope I don't have it. I don't think I do. I think I'm fine. But then again, I don't go out much anyway. But yeah, just stay safe, wash your hands, and don't get careless. Yeah, that's really all else I can add. I'll see you all next time for whatever I do next, most likely a stream. And as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.